probably spent about another hour on this blade since I last videoed, and I removed a few more flakes to reduce the width over here in this end, and also over here in this end. Took a few flakes off this face. Haven't really touched much in here. I've got, let me see if this will show up here. Pretty good platform set up right here to remove this mass right in here. I don't want it to run too deep because I've got kind of a bump over there, and there's a good chance it could actually fold a piece. So I'd like for it to terminate right around in here. I probably don't have too many more wax with this big bopper here left. Shouldn't need it anymore after a couple more hits here. Looks like it needs just a tad more abrading, right? Right there. Okay, now I got to set something up and come in from here, and I'll show you that in a minute. Here's another one set up right for here, and these platforms are taking me probably 10 minutes to set up each one of these darn things, 5 or 10 minutes. That's the reason I'm not videoing all that. It just takes too long on a large piece like this. Next time I make a smaller biface, I'll show how I make the platforms, because there is a certain technique in that. It's a lot like fluting when you start isolating like this. Kind of show that. Hope to remove some mass right about into here. There's a pretty good hump there. Side of the leg again. I'm trying to give you a different view here. Got one more platform set up right in here, and that should probably do it for this side. It's actually starting to look like a blade here in some sense. Now the back side is still pretty much untouched, but once I get this side all flat, then we'll deal with the back side. I need to remove this one flake right here. It's kind of important that it goes because I had a minor little step fracture right there. I have to smack it pretty hard. Alright, I cleaned up this face real nice now. Got another platform set up right here to try and remove some mass over in here. Hung up just a little bit right here. Got to study this. Maybe I can abrade that, re-hit it. The blade's coming along okay, but I'm running into some problems, mainly with this cortex area right in here. I'm not able to shoot really long flakes that are thin, because what's happening to me, they're terminating in these step fractures right here. I should have realized that when I started this, and if I had used a different strategy, I should have worked this face back a little bit more than I did, rather than spending all my time on this one face right over here. Because now I got a problem. The only way I'm going to get this, I can't run really long thin flakes in here. I've got to run short flakes that terminate up at an angle and feather terminate like that. Otherwise they're going to end in steps, and then it's just going to look like a mess. So probably what I'm going to have to do is bring in the edge a whole lot more in order to be able to get past that. and I don't know, thing may break, but it's a learning process anyway. I'd like to show some flakes here. One of the things I've been doing is looking at these flakes. I was asked by a guy in Canada to look at some flakes that he had found as an archaeologist and study them. He had some that looked pretty much exactly like that, and I thought it was an Aurelier at first, and now I believe it is. What's happened here, that's an Aurelier flake, but the actual point of impact of the flake, that part of the flake broke off so that the platform is no longer attached to the flake. It's just a pretty large Aurelier. I've only had a couple on this basalt do this. Most of them don't leave any trace of that at all. More typically what you get is flakes like this, and these basalt flakes are particularly flat, and they don't have a whole lot of curvature to them, and very diffuse bulbal percussion on these things. But I saw a really interesting flake that I don't think I've ever really noticed before, and that's right here. This particular flake right here has this Hertzian cone right in this area here, and you can see the ring going right around here, where it apparently transitioned from a Hertzian cone fracture to a bending fracture right at that point. And it's pretty interesting. I also removed a whole lot of the platform here, probably damn near an inch of the edge of the platform was taken off with this flake. And I think what happened here is the initial crack went over to here as a Hertzian cone type of fracture. At that point, the percussor was pushing on the end of this flake here and actually pushing it away from the core like that. So from here on, from here to the actual termination of the flake, was a bending type of fracture where the actual percussor was rebounding kind of like a spring. It was still in contact with the platform and pushing the flake away. And that's just my thoughts on it. Maybe I'm completely off base on that, but it's certainly interesting. I don't think I've ever taken notice of anything like that before. If this was to go all the way around, it'd be a pretty big cone and it only travel to there. Now why it would transition like that, I don't know. Why it wouldn't continue on it as a Hertzian cone, I don't know. Interesting though.